Fantastic evening, everyone. Good to see you all here on a Tuesday. So we had a fantastic festival, I hope, and I hope you all are full with a lot of kadbus. Today is a Tuesday, and it's very unlikely for a lot of us to make it on a Tuesday, and you're all here, so you all deserve a nice round of applause. It's definitely not on your regular schedule, but you made it on your regular schedule. It's a fantastic thing. While we progress forward, I want to give you just one update from my end. We had the first district meet of this particular term. We had over 240 participants who were a part of this. Presidents and VPEs from various clubs had joined this particular meet. It was good to see our own club member DTM Udanka give a great presentation on a lot of things that matter to a lot of us clubs. So it was good to see DTM Udanka take up these roles, being a part of the district top 8. With that, I'll now request Toastmaster Ujwal to go ahead with the VP Education's report.
A very good evening, everyone. Here is the VP's update. The following roles have been booked. The speech roles have been booked by Toastmaster Latana and Toastmaster Raja. Table topic master role has been booked by Toastmaster Ravi Kumar. Except this, all other roles are open. I kindly request all the members to kindly ping me for taking up the roles for the next week. Thank you, and over to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ujwal. Now let's hear from Toastmaster Shiva for his VPM's update.
Good evening, everyone. Perhaps the longest renewal cycle is going to come to an end in another 10 days. So the update is about the new dues that were proposed, right? So Toastmaster International was going to increase dues. All of you know about that, and most of you in this room have renewed for October to March or have paid as a new member for October to March. Now, for those who haven't renewed for October to March, our existing members and those who have joined after July, that is in August and further. For all of you, the new renewal amount shall be 930 rupees per month, right? So the increase is from $45 to $60, a 33% increase. So we have also done the same. Also, for the new members who are joining the club, for the very first time, your one-time membership fee will be 3,500 rupees. Now I know I have charged 4,000 from Chetan here. Your amount will be adjusted with the next, maybe next renewal, or it will be refunded. So it won't go to waste, definitely. And also for the members who are already members in some other Toastmasters club, if you want to be a dual member, then you will have to pay 1,750 extra along with the monthly fees of 930 rupees in order to become members of Mekon Communication Club. So I hope we can accept this with a round of applause. Thank you, and over to the President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva. Thank you, Toastmaster Ujwal. We'll now begin the meeting with our sergeants present.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. And I will not say dear guests because I can see there are no guests present here today. So, documenting. What you can think of when you think of documentation? Any guesses? Documentation. What do you think of documentation?
Legal documents.
Making memories.
Yeah, for obviously secretary case and mine. Then
Making memories.
Agreement.
everybody has their own ideas of documenting it. But what documentation is, whatever your ideas or whatever the thoughts, whichever is put in a format where you can store it and you can see it later after many years. That is what called documenting. Whether it is legally or whether it is a photographs or it is a memories or any trip or any as such thing. But even kids do have documentation mode these days. Huge classworks, huge workbooks they have to document their whatever the thoughts. And these days, no, unlike our time, they used to tell the answers and questions. They used to explain. The teachers in the school used to explain. See, this is what is your name? My name is so and so. So we used to write my name is so and so. That's it. But these days, kids has to think a lot before they go for documentation, they have to think a lot. I have an 8th standard son who is started with the projects, and he is on to documentation of those projects. Like he has to create his own PPTs, he has to give presentation in the school, and plus he has to document it like how he has done the whole project, including where did he gather the information, then how he presented himself. So those are the things. And documentation is really important. Now, since the technology also has improved, we can't always depend on the technology. For example, our mobiles get lost, our laptop might go suddenly off, and it will never get on by rains or climate changes, or maybe some virus would have come in. So documentation in the paper, that is always safer, as like old is gold. So olden days there was no systems, there was no technologies, and there was all the documentation was done in the papers. I still remember when I was a kid, my dad he is a retired general manager of Vijay Bank. He used to get such a huge books, and used to give us, do this all addition, subtraction, then you do the tally, then see what is the remaining, and you write it in pencil, don't write it in pen. If any corrections is there, then I can erase it and do that. So that's how I learned the documentation in the finance. That's a great experience. Now, we know one such person who is, the moment he comes behind the lectern, he doesn't require any documentation. Exactly to tell. You just give him a word, for example, water, he talk a lot about water. From a drop till the ocean, he inspire, he give all the ideas. He worked as a sales manager, and right now he is a principal in Achieve School. Let's welcome our president, Toastmaster Balaji, behind the lectern.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I was actually feeling quite under the weather, but that introduction woke me up for sure. Even before we could go ahead with the beautiful session that's planned up, let us introduce ourselves to the guest with the guest introduction. Could you please let us know who you are, what you do, where you're from?
I'm Gaurav. I've completed my BBA from CMS, and currently I'm pursuing CFL. And this is my first time. I wanted to start this Toastmaster. It was in my early days in CMS, but I was nervous that time. But now I feel I can. So.
Fantastic. We have, let us give him a nice round of applause. We have a very good connect with CMS because this club's president is also from CMS.
When I got your introduction, I recognized you.
I've changed shapes and sizes, but
I still follow you on Insta, so I know about you.
super. Thank you. Let us give him another bigger round of applause. Thank you so much. I don't want to call the theme documented. I would call it Sharanye. Because when it comes to documentation, the secretaries of MECON have always been raising the bar. One such individual who have with us, who's been raising the bar continuously and who's been documenting it for us. Let's call this not documented day, let's call this Sharanye day by calling our secretary on.
Thank you, Toastmaster Balaji. The best introduction so far. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmaster and dear guests present here. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1230 held on 11th of September 2023. Theme, get the ball rolling. Word of the week, meddlesome. The business session started at 6:22 p.m. and was chaired by Acting President Toastmaster Shivaprasad. In the business session, the following points were addressed. On behalf of Vice President Education Toastmaster Ujwal, Acting President Toastmaster Shivaprasad mentioned that all the roles were open except for 2 speech slots. Interested members were requested to contact him for the same. On behalf of Vice President Public Relations Toastmaster Pavani, Acting President Toastmaster Shivaprasad announced that quarterly newsletter is going to be released and the members were requested to contribute their articles for the same. The regular meeting started at 6:24 p.m. Associate Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Mamatha started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to Acting President Toastmaster Shivaprasad. Acting President Toastmaster Shivaprasad opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Lata. Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Lata spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, Accounter DTM MU Bhatt, Grammarian Toastmaster Jyothi, PP Evaluator Toastmaster Mamatha. The prepared speech session had the following speeches. Toastmaster Apoorva attempting Level 1 Project 1 which was evaluated by Toastmaster Keerthana. Toastmaster Shreya attempting Level 1 Project 1 which was evaluated by Anusha. Toastmaster Hemalata attempting Level 1 Project 1 which was evaluated by Toastmaster Sushruth. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Sushruth and had 11 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Raja. The winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Shreya, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Anusha, Best Table Topic Speaker DTM K Prabhakara, Best Role Taker Tab G DTM MU Bhatt, Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Raja. The President closed the meeting at 6:26 p.m. which is followed by National Anthem. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sharanye, for documenting it for us. I want to ask Toastmaster Shiva, how many best table topic speaker ribbons have you won so far?
I have lost count.
Okay, interesting. I'd like to ask Toastmaster Ujwal, how many times have you met with Toastmaster Pavani after college?
Countless.
Do you have a count?
No.
Okay. I'd like to ask Toastmaster Jyothi, how many times were you praised for that recent speech that you gave by DTM AKP?
I think a couple of times.
A couple.
I remember.
Okay. A couple could be.
Yeah, twice, 2-3 times he has. What was the word you said? Praised, yeah. So 2-3 times he has praised and he has spoken about what went well.
Fantastic. Okay. Toastmaster Raja, how many leaves have you taken in this annual year?
Not exactly sure. Somewhere around like 6 days.
Very good.
Oh, I see that. This is
Now I'd like to ask DTM AK Prabhakara, how many general evaluation sessions have you done or made in these 25 years?
103 times. I have documented it. And I have published in our WhatsApp group.
Sir, this entire build-up was for this.
And for your information,
Yes.
every meeting I attend, I note down the table topics. Against whom what was asked, very small, it's available throughout. And the question is, how do I respond in case I were to be posed that topic? This is just that's one of the reasons I wonder why people don't bring a notebook. Only me and Bhatt regularly bring and make a small noting. So this is just to support
Right.
what you are trying to say.
Right. Absolutely, sir.
And
Absolutely.
regarding number of times I have won the ribbon in table topics, it may be nearly 180. I have the ribbons. Ribbons are true. Not that it is just I'm trying to lift my collar, that's the way I live.
Absolutely, absolutely, sir. So, in fact, I started off asking these questions because, in fact, I started with data. I started asking questions which was less than 365 days in most of your cases, in fact all your cases. But it was only DTM K Prabhakara I asked data that was 25 years old. And I knew I was going to get that data because he's been documenting it. Of course, when the theme came up, when Toastmaster Ujwal shared on the group, the theme for this week is documented. I woke up, I'm like, documented? Because for someone who is in school, that is the most dreaded word. Like how a police officer needs to document every thief that comes in, why was he caught, what got him here, what is the proofs. Everything that is being done to a criminal in the police station, we'll have to do that to children here. All the teachers giving their version of the child, their scores, their marks, every single teacher's absentee list, non-absentee list. And we are talking about an organization that is maybe got around 50 people working in it. What about organizations which has got hundreds, which has got thousands, which has got lakhs? Today documenting it is no more a want. Today document it is no more a wish. Today documenting it is a need. And the best part is with the technology that is getting involved in documenting things, you don't even have to put much of an effort. The work that you're doing is automatically documenting it for you. For example, people of Mekong or the HR of Mekong doesn't have to document who's present today, who is not present today. The second you walk in, it is scanning your face and it is automatically giving the information to the HR by the end of the month or by the end of the year, however their appraisal cycle works. They're just going to pull out data. So if you are in that zamana, in that generation, where you need to pull out a piece of paper, where you need to pull out something from an area which is unknown to the others, please understand you're not doing it right. And when I am talking about this documentation, I am talking about the documentation that is related to you and your workspace. It's been 6 years. Whatever notes that I have is automatically on my phone and I will not choose another option. Why? Even if I lose my phone, even if I break my phone, I have all the documents saved for me by this very small teeny tiny 5 MB consuming app called Google Keep. We have so many apps that organizations use now. Trello, such a simple app which is so revolutionary today. All of it for documentation. Just a fun fact. Organizations which was using more than 40% of their work time to just document things, it has now come down to a staggering, or in fact meager 11% of their work time. A reduction of almost 29% was possible only because of technology. So when you say document it, you could dread it like me, you could fret it like me, but definitely you cannot forget it, because documenting is the most important, is the most key. Because what we are today is because of what we have done yesterday. And to find out what you're going to do tomorrow, you will need today and yesterday documented. With that, let us all make a pledge to use technology in documentation. If you're documenting without the use of technology, then maybe you're not doing it right, because anything that doesn't involve technology will be either lost or burnt. When it comes to technology, don't worry, you'll always have a backup. With that, let us call upon when I say documented, it's always the secretary and an undisputable Toastmaster of the day. right? And because the theme itself is on the job role of our secretary, she has decided she will also be the Toastmaster of the day in real. Right? So with the job, with the theme, let us give a nice round of applause for the Toastmaster of the day and our MC for the day with a nice round of applause, Toastmaster Sharanye.
Every Mondays I look forward to is Balaji's, Toastmaster Balaji's introduction. Today I've got 2 introductions, so which will keep my whole week energetic. Thank you, Toastmaster Balaji, for that great introduction. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and dear guests present here. What is documentation? Something which is important, something which is required for verification. But what is documentation in real life? Recording just the good memories, recording just the good people in life is not documentation. Recording the bad memories, recording the people who have not been great to us is also documentation. Learning lessons from them, verifying those lessons and creating the good memories is documentation. As the President and the Sergeant have already spoken about the theme, all of you have a vague idea about the theme. When something really great is achieved by people, only their names will be documented. One such person whose name is documented in Toastmasters is Ralph C. Smedley, who started Toastmasters in the year 1924 at YMCA, Santa Ana, California. There are Toastmasters in 149 countries, and there are 15,800 member clubs with 218,000 members. And one such club is our Mekon Communication Club, which was founded in the year 1998. A typical Toastmaster meeting consists of 3 sessions. For the benefit of the guest, I'll be explaining how this works. First comes the prepared speech session, where the speaker gets time to prepare for the speech of their own choice as per the guidelines of the manual. Second comes the table topic session, where the speakers are chosen randomly and are handpicked. They are given a topic for which they have to respond immediately. Now comes the general evaluation session. It is a session where the speakers and the proceedings of the meetings are given and are evaluated. To document a great meeting, we have a few important role takers. When I call upon the role takers, I request you to come behind the lectern and give a brief about the role so that for the better understanding of everyone. Firstly, timer Toastmaster Shivaprasad.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guest. As a timer, I shall be making note of all the time that you have spent here at the lectern as speakers or role takers or in whatever capacity you have come here. And today I shall not just be documenting it, I shall be letting you know if you've taken longer than you should. Right? So first we will have the prepared speech session, and the first speaker is delivering a 5 to 7 minute speech. So you will see the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red card at 7 minutes. And the second speaker is delivering a 10 to 12 minute speech. So therein you will see the green card at 10 minutes, yellow at 11, and red until Sindhushree finishes her speech. Then we have the table topic session, wherein speakers are given topics on the spot and you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. So green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5, and red at 2 minutes. And finally, during the general evaluation, the prepared speakers will be evaluated by individual evaluators, and for that, green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5, and red at 3 minutes. I shall be giving my report during the general evaluation back to the Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva. Now I would want to call BP Evaluator Toastmaster Karthik.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you all. As I'm taking a PP evaluator for the day, I request all the speakers not to talk about sex, religions, and politics. And please do not enter and exit and while applause. Only do it only while applause. I'll be giving my report when called upon. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karthik. Now I would want to call Grammarian Toastmaster Abhimaan.
Good Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. As a grammarian, today my responsibility is to pay attention to all the speakers and document any improper language and good usages of grammar. And also it's my duty to introduce the word of the day, that is undulate, which means to move with a smooth up and down motion. An example of this word usage is the road undulates for 5 kilometers before a steep climb. I request everyone to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the general evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhimaan. Now I will call upon the our counter Toastmaster Chetan.
Hello guys, I will be counting the R's, and repeated words as the R counter. As I can see, I am already doing it. I will work tediously on improving this myself, and I will be a tough evaluator today. So I'll give the report at the end of this session. Thank you all.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chetan. Moving on to the first session, that is the prepared speech session, we have 2 speakers today. Before I call upon the first speaker, I request the individual evaluator, Toastmaster Raja, to read out the project guidelines.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. There is one person who documents everything, whatever I say and whatever I do as well. So that is my wife. So that I can bring back and she'll say, that day you said like this, or that day you did like this. So I have to be very careful. Okay, so let me read out the guidelines. Purpose statement. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate their ability to deliver an effective, respectful speech and an evaluation speech. And I will be, so the speaker has identified the feedback to observe during the speech, so I'll be I'll be observing all the feedback that she has given me. And notes for the evaluator: during the completion of this project, the member received feedback about their first speech, work to apply the feedback to a second speech, and about this speech, the member will deliver a well-organized speech on any topic and incorporate feedback from their previous speech evaluation. The member may choose to present the same speech, a revision of their first evaluation and feedback speech, or a new speech. I'll be giving my evaluation when called upon.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja. The first speaker works as a data analyst. She loves to travel and her dream is to travel all over the world. The one place most of us hate to go, but we are there for sure on Jan 1st. Do you know that place? Gym. Her hobbies are reading novels, watching tennis. She's attempting her level 1 project 4 with her speech title, Mind is a Thought Factory. Mind is a Thought Factory, Toastmaster Mehjabin. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Mehjabin with a huge round of applause.
Our mind is a thought factory. It generates either positive or negative thoughts. Good in, good out. Positive in, positive out. Trash in, trash out. But unfortunately, trash in and trash out is not always true. But rather, trash in, it stays, it breeds within us. This multiplier effect is dangerous and destructive. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Our mind has a power to make hell out of heaven and heaven out of hell. Just like a gardener shows a seed, we take a thought and plant in our mind, in the field of our mind. Whether it will become a mango tree, a mulberry bush, or a poison ivy, or a rose shrub, it depends whatever you have planted and how it is watered. Because those thoughts will generate other thoughts as well. One seed doesn't give you one fruit, right? The harvest is manifold, whether positive or negative. Just like a seed doesn't choose the soil that are planted, our subconscious mind doesn't choose what thoughts to be chosen. And just like a farmer decides on the seeds, our conscious mind decides and implant in the field of our subconscious mind. There's a gamut of conscious thoughts like what books to read, what music to listen to, and what movies to watch. Once our mind is decided what movies to watch, our conscious mind closes up and our subconscious mind opens up to receive. Upon seeing an excited scene, we get excited. Upon seeing a sad scene, we might feel cry or maybe sad. Right? Do you think there is a button installed somewhere in our mind? Is there?
Could be.
Of course not. Conscious mind decides, subconscious mind receives, and body reflects. Right? So all the beautiful ladies present over here, they might have put their makeup on or not. But I'm not, beautiful, natural way. But the point is, after we reach home, don't we remove our makeup and clean with a good cleanser?
Yeah.
Why?
To avoid matching.
So that our skin would not get damaged, right?
And next day you can again tell it's natural.
The cleansing process of our mind, it should be consistent and constant. Because the pure mind with evil thoughts are not compatible. Pure mind with generous pure thoughts which resulting in pure actions. There's a saying that goes like this: people you hang around with will eventually define you, the person you become. There was a eagle's egg placed in the chicken's nest. The egg hatched and the little eagle grew up, thinking it was a chicken. The eagles did what chickens did. It never flew more than a feet and also scratched dirt for the seeds, because this is what chickens did. One day he saw an eagle in the open sky, flying gracefully and majestically. He asked, "What is that beautiful bird?" The chickens replied, "That's an eagle, and it's an outstanding bird. You cannot fly like him because you are just a chicken." He believed it, and he never gave a second thought to believing it to be truth. He lived and died as a chicken, never knowing that what he was capable of. He was born to fly, but he conditioned to crawl on the ground. If you want to soar like an eagle, you have to learn the ways of an eagle. Eagles don't fly with small birds like sparrows or ravens. Eagles fly with a high altitude. Eagles fly with eagles, which means stay away from narrow-minded people who brings you down. If you have been doing whatever you have been doing all your lives, you will keep getting the same results what you have been getting. If you want different results in your life, you need to do things differently or different things. When we get unwell, doctor prescribes a medicine and a diet. Not just that, he also asks us to do different things. Like, we have been walking all our lives, now we have to walk differently. We have been eating all our lives, now we have to eat differently or different things. Our mind is a thought factory. It generates either positive or negative thoughts. And every thought is a seed. If you plant an inferior seed, you cannot expect a superior fruit. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehjabin. Before we move on to the second speaker, I welcome to Aditi and Udanka for giving the project guidelines.
Purpose of this statement. The purpose of this project is for the members to reflect on his or her growth during the completion of an entire path. The purpose of this speech is for the members to share some aspects of her growth during the completion of her path. Notes to the evaluator, that's me. This member is completing the last speech of her current path. The member may ask to talk on any aspect of the journey completed. The speech may be persuasive, humorous, informational, crafted, or any style that appeals to the member and support the speech content. Timer, please note, the speech timing is 10 to 12 minutes. Over to you, Vinci.
Thank you, DTM Udanka. The second speaker is like my go-to person, not just in Toastmasters, but it could be finance, giving it back to someone. Or it could be marketing, management. She's always there and she knows it all. She works as a product manager at Kalagato. She is a BE and MBA graduate. Previously, she was an area director, and I also recently got to know from her HR that she's the most vocal employee in the organization. She is attempting her level 5 speech completion project with her speech title One Chapter at a Time. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Sindhushree with a huge round of applause.
22 platforms, 15 speeches, 5 leadership roles, 3 mentors, and 1 Sindhushree. Each obstacle, each speech, each challenge, and each motivation marked a new chapter in my life every single day. Did I know a few years ago what exactly was a perfect speech? Did I know how exactly to go about a path? Did I know it all, as Sharanye said? Of course not. I was introduced to Toastmasters during my college level. As an ambitious young girl, when I was introduced to the Toastmasters world, I wanted to achieve it all. I wanted to check box every single thing that was given there. To become an ISC champion speaker on the very first day, to become a district director on the second day, to become every single thing that was given out there. I remember one fine day when I was allotted a mentor. I was talking to Azhar and I asked him, can I become all these things? I think I can, I definitely can. He told me, first write your icebreaker speech for tomorrow, then we'll go forward. As I planned, I wrote down everything. I wrote a complete 5 to 7 minute speech. I timed it. I thought I was ready. But the next day when I sat comfortably on my bed, since it was an online meeting, I spoke for more than 9 minutes, an icebreaker speech. Definitely, I did not know it all. And I thought to myself, I thought I did not have content for 5 minutes. How did I speak for 9 minutes? And my mentor came back and told me, one speech at a time, we'll work on it. It was the next speech. I was skeptical now. I knew that I would speak for long. I knew that I cannot drive my message on the given time. I knew that I did not have proper messages towards any of the things that I was talking. I was naturally talking. Everybody could talk. You can talk, she can talk, every one of us can talk. But can you talk effectively in the given period of time? That was a challenge. On the second speech, when I was thinking about what is it I want to speak upon and what exactly can I speak and what are the different topics that are available for me, I was clueless. I had so much to speak but then very little to tell. And then again, my mentor came to my rescue and he told me, anyway you're giving a speech in your MBA presentation, why don't you tell the same? I said, okay, maybe that works. Then I had a very nice presentation on the CSR activities and I presented the same speech. And as I told it more than 2 times, I realized how practice makes it important to give a good speech. Every time I delivered the same speech for the 3rd time, I realized, okay, this is much better than the very first speech that I gave. Practice actually makes man perfect. 1 chapter had got over successfully. And then came the 2nd chapter. In this 2nd chapter, we were discovering the different styles of communications. I gave a real life example, spoke effectively. This time I was able to finish on point. I had a message too. But then my evaluator told me, can you give a humorous speech? Now that was a challenge again. But my 2nd speech in the level 2 was on effective body language. I thought to myself, how do I make it more fun? How do I incorporate everything? But then in my level of understanding, effective body language meant dress prettily, smile happily. And everybody would enjoy the speech. That is what I did for a long period of time. It took me trying to understand that body language goes beyond words. Sometimes it's your gesture, sometimes it's your emotion, sometimes it's your expression that matters the most. I brought in this reference in my second speech where I brought in the Bollywood reference. Since it quotes me, I brought in this famous saying that tells, "Ek chutki sindur ki कीमत तुम क्या जानो महेश बाबू." And I used this, it was a success. And then I spoke about mentoring, where I spoke about a very true story to my heart about my dad being a real life mentor for me throughout my life. But then I failed again. I wasn't able to write the speech. I wasn't able to grasp all the concepts of what the mentoring in one speech. In all these speeches, one feedback remained constant to me. Sindhu, slow down your pace. Sindhu, the opposite person has to understand what you talk. Sindhu, you are speaking too fast, slow, slow, slow. To the extent that my friends would be sitting in the audience and telling me, slow, slow, slow. And then again I went back to my mentor and said, maybe this is not working out for me. He told me, you cannot master everything at once. Go one step at a time. Then came the level 3 speech. And here I was confident. Now I was able to talk in front of people effectively. There was no hurry. I knew what I wanted to speak about. And that is when I gave my third level 3 project 1 speech in Mekon. It was about persuasive speech where I had to convince all the audience to agree with me and give a very convincing speech. So I thought of challenging myself and I thought, let me sell a very unappealing product. Let's see if people buy it. So I came to Mekon, gave an unappetizing tea puri recipe speech, and surprisingly all the Mekonians said they would buy it from me. And after that particular speech, we went ahead and I went ahead on the electives where I focused upon the connect with storytelling and then focus on positive. In connect with storytelling, I spoke about the vice president membership role. As a role, what did I do? And I was definitely really good at it. I think Udanka can quote when I was a VPM at eloquence. And I was able to not just speak for my role as a eloquence VPM, but as an area director for the entire area. I was working as such. I brought in my learnings from the persuasive previous project to the next role, which successfully helped me build in the connect with storytelling, where I weaved a story with the crows and the pebble story with the VPM. And then focus on positive, I was able to bring in reference from my engineering story, which was working really well for me. And finally, I entered a level 4 project. In the level 4 project, it was about managing a difficult audience. It was at that point in my level where I had become an area director and I was away from a stage for a very long time. I hadn't given my speeches, I hadn't taken up roles. I was only dolling up and going for every meetings because I had to be a representative. Whereas attending my level 4 project, I kept thinking to myself, the other person is judging me. Maybe I'm not giving a good speech. Maybe what I'm talking is complete nonsense. Maybe I don't have a story to tell. What if my story is not good enough? What if the other person interrupts and I don't know what to tell him? I kept thinking all these things in my head and I was giving a complete marketing strategy kind of speech. And I stood there, I looked at my mentor and he told me, breathe, go ahead. That was the day I was able to tackle every single kind of audience. I had people gesturing weird body gestures. I had people interrupt me, stop me. They were asking me questions that were completely away from the topic. I was able to pull them back. Was I not happy doing that speech? I was extremely happy to handle that kind of project. After doing that, managing a difficult audience, it was finally another elective called as Manage Your Project Successfully. Again, I was able to do a division level event as an area director where we brought out all the division A clubs and gave a quality of education speaking, and I was able to bring in all the stakeholders, that is presidents from all the division clubs and then all my co-area directors and all the knowledge that I had accumulated over a period of time. That could be persuasion or it could be leadership skills or it could be presenting an idea to them. Everything was tested and everything was implemented and executed well. And finally, when I came to the level 5 project was all about speaking professionally. So I thought, let me pick something that is very close and dear to my heart. that is marketing. I knew content sells. Everybody's story sells. But how exactly is content empowering people? So my project was on content makes you content. And then it was not just about the body structure of the speech. It was not just about whether you had a personal story, whether you had a structure going correct, or if you had a punchline, or if you had anecdotes, or if you had a good ending. But this time I brought something new to myself, that is live examples. I was able to do a very small experiment for everybody who was sitting here or part of the experiments, and I think everybody got involved in this particular endeavor. And finally came the last, that is the panel discussion. In panel discussion, again we were talking about the same kind of topic, that is marketing, and how it makes people skeptical about the data that is being shared about them. We were able to choose a lot of different panelists from different various backgrounds, different various demographies, people who had a different cultural background. We had Amitabha sir, we had Mamatha ma'am, we had Sanjana, we had Gaurav. All of them were culturally from a different background. And I would say this particular knowledge of what they shared, what is that they feel, what are their perspectives, gave a very comprehensive knowledge. And I was able to frame the questions that was very understandable to the audience. So when I turn back and I see all the five levels that I completed, when I think to myself, was I successful? What did I learn? Did I check mark every single thing that I written down for myself? No, obviously not. There's a much greater knowledge. There is so much effective way of giving a perfect word language or vocal variety or a vocal modulation or anything else. But when I turn back, I'm really proud that after 2.5 years, I was able to complete a pathway. Every journey, your life is an ongoing journey. You have very short stories in each and every one of them. When you give a speech, you mark a new chapter of your life. When you take a step back and see, you cannot master everything at once. You have to take one step at a time. Write one chapter at a time. Write one speech at a time. Well, some of the key take-backs that I have today is, I should definitely practice more. I should definitely give more speeches. We should definitely have a proper content and never ever fear how it makes it look, how we look in front of the difficult audience or anything. End of the day, we are on the path of become better speakers, better communicators, better leaders. Let us not make sure that we take one step at a time and not try to master everything at once. Thank you, and back to you, Sharanye.
Thank you, Toastmasters Sindhushree. Now comes the most exciting session, that is the table topic session. Today's table topic master is a BCom and interior graduate from SPMJC. She loves playing sports like badminton, cricket and table tennis. She feels her day is incomplete without workout. She is a big time foodie but also very health conscious. She is also an adventurous person who loves trekking. So please help me welcome the table topic master of the day, Toastmaster Apoorva, with a huge round of applause.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I'm your table topic master for the day. Table topic is a fun segment which will help in practicing your impromptu speaking skills. For today's table topic session, I wanted to do something unique. Keeping in respect with the theme of the day, which is documented, I wanted to bring out a fun angle. Today, I am taking the whole club of Mekon to a trip on Europe. I'll be calling each speaker to the stage and giving you a hypothetical situation or a scenario, and I would request them to speak for a minute or two about it. So the first topic is, all of us land at the Paris airport. Everybody are super excited, but the taxi which was supposed to take us to the hotel is not arrived. So what would you do until you go to the hotel? This topic goes to DDM K Prabhakara, sir.
Madam Deputy Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome. Yes, I assume I have arrived in Charles de Gaulle's airport, and I have taxi as expected has not been there, and nobody has come to receive me, and I am a tourist. The person I had taken a tourist guide also, he had not arrived. I don't know the language. The first thing is that I will write down the hotel name with the paper that normally I carry and hold it against me like this. I want to go to this place. Most of the taxi drivers know broken English, and one of that person came in and he said, you are going to that hotel? Yes. Then he said that it costs so much franc. I said, I showed him the meter because I was experienced in Bangalore. so he didn't ask for return fare, but he just said that I showed that. And how many francs? He said approximately this. He said, you take card? He said, no, UPI was not there in place at that time. I'm talking of something 10 years ago, things were not there. So, but yet he took us there, and it was very cold day, and that was not easy for me. But he took me there, and then we lodged ourselves in. That's not an issue. Then comes at that time to the hotel. Somehow that guide that was supposed to pick up, because the other taxi drivers recognized that there was this problem. Afterwards, I had no problem. In fact, he guided me through the entire Paris, like Eiffel Tower to Seine River, and then he said, we will accompany to London also. I said, no, please don't, because I've had some kind of I have a way with going around in London. So that's how, even if you don't know the language, if you write the name, and it's not a problem at all. In fact, whether it's extent of length and whole lot of works or the time required to travel, everything I knew by Google Map. So this today getting lost is non-issue. It's only question of you finding the right person. You don't have to hurry through, panic. The world is at your feet if you know how to go about it. Over to table topic master.
I wanted to say that the table topic was that the whole of Mekong Club is going to Paris, and all of us together go to Paris, and we are documenting the whole journey. So
I think I have not understood, or you have not told correctly. One of those two things has happened, because I am not used to. It's okay. You are talking to me, I am talking back to you. So that's what I have felt. That's it.
So this was the thing, and now how will we deal with
I
it
know you
as a
want to
group?
talk again.
Okay. So the day one begins with the trip to the top of the Eiffel Tower with the club, and describe the experience and amazing view from the top. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Chetan Vasisht.
Hello speakers. The top of the Eiffel Tower is a pretty high place. The Eiffel Tower itself is mostly steel and built with, if you see it from up close, you will realize that it's weirdly complicated. It is an intricate structure, almost looks like Lego at times, and you will feel, how is this a wonder of the world? And then you take a step back, you go back and you look at the space, and then when you don't see those minute details, right, that's when things kick in. When you see the complexity as you go closer to it and then you go away, you can see the complexity as it bleeds into your eyes. It's undulating at times. And seeing the world from atop, there is a restaurant up there. You can actually make a reservation for it and get it if you're lucky enough. I haven't been there, unfortunately, But on our hypothetical trip, I believe all of us can be there. So, from Eiffel Tower, let's say we decide to visit the rest of France. We could view it from right up there and decide what to see next. You can see a beautiful city, you can see restaurants, you can see people, you can see culture, you can see life bleeding and loving all around you. It's something to look forward to. So, back to our table topics master.
Looks like we had a fun evening dining at the top of the Eiffel Tower. So the next topic is, you want to go partying at the night and go pub hopping through the night, but the president is not allowing. How will you convince him? So you want to go partying and pub hopping through the night, but the president is not allowing. How will you convince him? This topic goes to Toastmaster Ujwal.
A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Thank you, Table Topic Master, for giving me this topic. Actually, you have chosen the wrong person because I am the person who won't drink, but it's fine. Party means I can even have like cool drinks as such. So how I can convince President? So I think I won't get a choice to convince President because he will be the first person to go to say yes for the party. So I think there will be no issues for me to convince the President as such. But then, yeah, actually, President will have to convince me rather. Yeah, this is one thing. And then, what I can do is, yeah, like we will tell, yeah, like we're all like tired, and then we all tend to say that we're all tired, and then we'll say to the President, let's all sleep for the night. And then once the President has slept, so we all in the WhatsApp group, we will all chat, and then we will go for a pub, we'll enjoy the party, and then yeah, we'll come back at the midnight or at the around 2 or 3 a.m. and then just sleep. Look into that. The President is not knowing about it, and then yeah, that's how we can do it. Thank you, and back to you.
After spending few fun days at Paris, now the club flies to Switzerland. We reach late, and we face a problem in getting veg food. We reach late to Switzerland, and we get a problem in getting veg food. This topic goes to DTM Amitabha.
So we land in Switzerland and we have a problem finding veg food. Fine. So, Table Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters, what comes to your mind when you think of Switzerland? Chocolates. And I presume chocolates are veg food, right? Unless milk is excluded from your diet and if you're a vegan. And I presume all of you love chocolates, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'm also a chocolate lover. So I think we can freak out on chocolates. We may not have steak, but we can freak out on chocolates. And I believe Swiss is famous for cheese as well. They say Swiss cheese, right? So what's a Swiss cheese? Swiss cheese is like a cheese with a lot of holes. Okay, they say Swiss cheese strategy. Have you ever heard of a Swiss cheese strategy? The Swiss cheese strategy is one in which you usually use it in security. I'm in technology industry, so in security. So you, like a Swiss cheese, you have a lot of holes in the cheese, but each hole will not go through the other hole. One hole will be in one direction, so they will be all random. So even if you have holes, but you have multiple layers of this thing. Okay, so cheese is like this thing block, and you cannot if you imagine putting a rod through the whole thing, it will not go through all the holes. So you can look at the cheese, you can count the cheese and eat the cheese. Cheese is also vegetarian. And then I'm sure there are a few people who enjoy non-veg food also in our club. Raise your hand if you're a non-vegetarian. Yeah. So then after those who have taken milk and cheese, I think they can freak out on the steak and they can freak out on all the nice European non-veg dishes. Maybe we will not get a biryani there, but I'm sure we'll all enjoy a good Swiss steak there. So with that, over to the table topic.
The club, after having a chocolatey evening at Swiss, the next day we visit the most famous peak of Switzerland, which is Mount Titlis. It's freezing cold and you didn't carry your jacket. How will you manage? It's freezing cold, you're at the peak, top of the peak, you didn't carry your jacket. How will you manage? This topic goes to Toastmaster Abhimaan.
It is freezing cold at the top of the mountain, tallest mountain in Switzerland, right? All of us reached there?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do. I think try to get come down. That's all. You're stuck there at the top, right? You could borrow. Yeah. If you had money, you could buy it or borrow it from the shops. And, yeah, after that, we'll enjoy the time there at the top. And I don't know what else to say. Thank you.
I think you could share with other friends from Mekon.
You could also exercise.
Huh? Yeah,
if
you
you exercise, you can breathe faster.
Sweat out. Okay, you're in the Interlaken city, so you run into your favorite movie star who speaks very sweetly to you but refuses to take a picture. But once you're back, nobody from the club believes you that you have met the movie star. This topic goes to Toastmaster Sushruth.
Thank you, David. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. We have the taxi set, we have the party set, we have the cheese and rich food set. What else to expect more from Europe? And one thing, Tom and Jerry didn't show that the cheese don't have full worth. I've seen cheese only in Tom and Jerry, those things. And
Movie star, favorite movie.
the favorite movie star. The movies that I watch is most of Kannada movies. So even if I couldn't get the picture in Europe, I would somehow manage to get the picture with him in Karnataka. I would somehow make sure I would get a picture with him. And you all, as usual, Mekon always makes us feel home. So we would definitely enjoy a lot, party a lot. Have some dinner in Eiffel Tower top restaurant for some time. Come back to Karnataka and take a picture with him. And I would, that's how I would enjoy the trip. And I think,
You are at Interlaken skydiving. Just before the drop at the plane, your friends Sindhushree and Snehal get cold feet. Just before you take a drop from the plane, while skydiving, your friends Sindhushree and Snehal get cold feet. How will you convince them or leave them? This topic goes to Toastmaster Gaurav.
I can see this happening in the future. Very good evening to all Toastmasters. Thank you, Table Topic Master, for that wonderful topic. So in the skydiving, it's always been one of my bucket lists to do skydiving. So we are in Switzerland, and I can see not just me, Snehal and Sindhu in the plane. I can see even Balaji and everyone else over there. Balaji is completely excited. As soon as the instructor tells jump, he just he just jump. All of a sudden, looking at him jumping, Sindhu is like, I don't want to do this. I think this is a very big mistake. Let's just go back. Let's land the plane. I don't want to do this skydiving. So I just tell her that even listening to her, even Sai Snehal realizes that what if the parachute won't open? What if something happens? What if there is a hole in the parachute? What if I fall down? Even both of them having a very cold feet, and they're like, I don't want to do this. I just tell them one thing. I just tell them one thing. It's a lifetime opportunity, once in a lifetime opportunity. Utilize it at the fullest. If you regret, if you don't jump now, and if in future if you regret saying that you could have jumped but you didn't, so don't have that regret. Just close your eyes and jump. Even though they don't jump after that wonderful motivational speech, I just ask the instructor, can I just push them, or else maximize what I can do. I'll just say jump holding my hand and literally jump. That's all I can do at the end, or else I'll just push them. No leaving. There's no option of leaving them behind. They have to jump. Thank you.
Totally agree with you, Toastmaster Gaurav. Zindagi na milegi dobara. The men of the club are not interested to go shopping. You're in Suez, and the men of the club are not interested to go shopping. How will you convince them? This goes to Toastmaster Keerthana.
So before you go to the trip, what exactly happens?
Shopping.
So before you go to the trip, you shop, and while you're on the trip, what do you do?
Shopping.
And what do you do at the airport?
Shopping.
Shopping. And when it's in excess, what do you do?
Give away.
Donate?
I'll be next to you since you're doing that.
Dump it in your husband's bag.
Dump it in everybody's bag. I mean, we are going in a group, man. And anyway, the men are, not keen on shopping. So if they're not keen on shopping, we let it be. Just let it be. Let them enjoy. Because, yes.
Let them carry the bags.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Let them carry the bags and let them take pictures. And it so happened, when we were there in Switzerland, in Interlaken, what we did is Sharanye, me and Sindhu, we shopped and we color coordinated. We did a lot of reels. Karthik helped us there. So we all took reels, and then after that we actually went to skydiving, where Gaurav narrated all that. And actually we were all excited even for skydiving because we had shopped. So we had shopped for new stuff. So we were excited about that also. And also we had already seen Balaji doing it before. So Balaji had already experienced it. And we are waiting for that raw, unadulterated version where we get to hear what he speaks to the skydiving, the person he's doing with, because he's added music. If you go to the Instagram channel, he has added music. So once we get it, we'll see even that. So basically, coming back to shopping, I think we will shop in excess because men are not keen on shopping, and we can always borrow their money. And once we are here, we'll tell them we'll pay you in installments. And when that installment comes, we'll tell you, we'll pay. And the UPI probably didn't work. We'll pay back. Or if it is Shiva, we'll tell them, we just adjusted, no? For the next. So yeah, we would do that. So if the men are not shopping, just let them be.
Looks like all the girls had a blast shopping. Okay, you get a free day of the trip at Switzerland, and you decide to explore alone. And you get lost, and you have forgotten your phone at the hotel. What would you do? You decide to explore alone. You forget. You get lost, and you realize you have forgotten your phone. This topic goes to Toastmaster Shiva.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. Once again, very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. Am I still in Paris?
Yes.
Switzerland, okay. So Switzerland without phone, it's a beautiful country. That is the country you should be in without phone, not anywhere else, right? But in Switzerland, majorly I think about 60-70% of the population speaks German, and then they speak a little bit of a dialect called Swiss German, and then they also speak French. And coming to French, I have because of incessant knocking by this app called Duolingo on my phone, it has been teaching me French for a year now. So whatever basic French I can blurt out from my mouth, and you might think that because I've learned on Duolingo I'm an expert, but probably I can make 5 sentences now. And it won't help me when I'm there with a native speaker, because that experience is completely different, right? When you might think a lot of this happens a lot in Bangalore. You might think I am very good at Hindi, right? And then an actually Hindi speaking person comes in front of you and they start speaking very fast, and instantly you start blabbering like Sushruth here. मैं करता है, मुझे भी आता है हिंदी. And you think I watch so many Hindi videos on YouTube, on this app, that app. I watch so many movies. My Hindi should be so good, but when it comes out, it doesn't work. So in Switzerland, I believe all the people are very nice people. They're against war. They were neutral in World War II. All they wanted was money. They kept everybody's money and said, "You fight." So I'll maybe somebody will shelter me in one of their bunkers. They have a bunker everywhere in Switzerland. So probably I'll stay in a bunker and get them to contact my family, the club members. With that, over to the table topics master.
Looks like you had a pleasant me time. The club goes to a famous fancy restaurant for dining, but you face racism. How would you react? This goes to Toastmasters Balaji. The club goes to a fancy restaurant for dining. You face racism. How would you react?
I think I'm reacting just the way a lot of people who didn't get a chance to speak are reacting. Racism is not new to me because I've been facing racism since my childhood in India, in my classroom. Right? There is always one dark fellow and another fellow who is a little more dark, another fellow who is a little extra dark, and this fellow with another person who is the most dark. So it will start from here. Hey Karya, hey Nana la Karya, even Karya. Basically means I'm not the dark one, he's the dark one. And then he will say, no, I'm not the dark one, hey Karya. So I was the one I was the last but one person. So I always had this career to Bangkok. But I shouldn't forget that I have faced racism from the other 3 people. And I have also faced a lot of racism in Jain College, especially with the Marwadi Jain folk. They're all generally fair. And somehow, because I was a part of Jain College, I had a lot of Marwadi friends. Right? And all those Marwadi friends also had parents. And if other friends mess it up, they would say, "Tu uske saath mat ja," which basically means don't go with him. But whenever I mess up, they would always say, "Tu Afrika ladka ke saath mat ja." So racism, being in India, you are a part of, in fact, you are racism. Right? And in Switzerland also, in real life faced racism. Right? So they came up to me, "Oh, Colombia. I'm like, "No, India." I'm like, no, South Africa. No, India. Right? So I have always been very, very confused about racism. I've always been looking away from racism. So Switzerland, especially those guys, even if they want to get my hair, it's not real. So I don't think they're going to do anything much around. They're very nice, sweet people. They try to be racist, but all they can do is just try. Back to this topic.
That was a fun take on the serious topic. So the whole club just landed to Bangalore. Will you miss the trip or are you glad to be back to Bangalore? Will you miss the trip or are you glad to be back to Bangalore? This topic goes to Toastmaster Karthik.
Good evening. Topic is like when you land to Bangalore.
You just landed to Bangalore. Will you miss the trip or like you want to stay back there or are you glad that no, the trip is over?
First thing, my impression will be, have you seen Krish, how he'll observe the things or how will he research the things and everything. There's a small part on a Krish movie when he touches the screen or something. He'll go to his imagination. But, exactly. But I can't do it here. when I have landed it, I have to reach Bangalore. But I'll miss the trip actually. Like there'll be not everywhere fun moments. Like, but the thing is, our imaginary or our mindset will be there in Switzerland every day. That is the problem we'll be having. I'm not sure what to say else. But we'll be having a fun memories as a, some kind of scenes over there that is memorable to us. That's all I can say. Thank you.
I had absolute incredible time and an amazing trip. Hope you guys also enjoyed. Back to the MC.
Thank you, Toastmaster Apoorva. 20 minutes of free Europe trip, free chocolate, skydiving. Now let's go get back to our regular samosas. Let us have 10 minutes networking session. Welcome back, everyone. Now coming to the most important session, that is the general evaluation session. Today's general evaluator is working at HRD Infocon Limited. She has done her diploma from Banjara Academy. She tells, the first time I asked her for her introduction, she told that she's a jack of none but master of many. But I will complete this. She is a jack of many trades, master of none but better than one. So please help me welcome today's general evaluator, Toastmaster Jyothi, with a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Master of the Ceremony, Toastmaster Sharanye. Good evening, Toastmasters, and do we have the guest still here? So, good evening, Toastmasters. As a general evaluator, I will be evaluating things that went on well and that could have done better. To start with, we started the meeting at 6:26. I get it that today being a Tuesday, maybe that is the reason that the meeting started at 6:26. But even then, in my last evaluation also, I had spoken about the same thing about that time. So, Toastmasters, I remember in 2019 when I first joined, I was very impressed with the timing. The meeting started at 6:15, the latest by 6:16 or 6:17. And for that also the evaluator used to speak that the meeting should start at 6:15. So maybe we should work on that, because Toastmasters is all about learning our leadership and time is very important. Speaking about the topic documented, I have a word to say. We documented, I understand documenting it, official and legal documents is all needed and required. There is one more document that happens, is the pictures and events which by default gets documented on our Google Drive and Google Pictures. So I have a different take of it. We are so much dependent on this technology that we have stopped documenting the event, memorable event and important event which is so important for us, that we depend on the technology and not in our mind and in our thought or in our heart. We have the memory that we have. It is used for tribal reasons, as looking at into many reels and remembering it, looking at the binging on TV shows and trying to remember the story. But the event that had actually happened in our life, we have left it to the Google to document it. Personally, I think it should be vice versa. That is my take on the topic. Otherwise, the Toastmaster Balaji started the business session with introducing, telling us about the district meet that happened and DTM Udanka presenting it. So a big round of applause for DTM Udanka. The VP spoke about next week's opening. Toastmaster Ujwal spoke about the openings that is there for the next week's role. Here I would again put across that Toastmasters is all about being proactive, is all about learning leadership, is all about preparing, overcoming our fear. And that is what we can do as being proactive in taking up the roles of the small things which we all consider is the grammarian, accounter and timer, PP. If more of us take those roles proactively, I'm sure we can start the meeting in time, because what I say is, when the members come in, that is the time when the MC of the day connects with the members, asking them to take up roles. Maybe that we could do at the back end itself. And then we got the Toastmaster Shiva spoke about the renewal, which from October to March, from now onwards, it will be rupees 930 rupees. Am I right, yes. Toastmaster Shiva? 930 rupees per month. Whoever has not renewed it or who are due to renew it, please do it by end of September. And a big round of applause to Toastmaster Ujwal and Shiva. Then we had the Secretary Toastmaster Sharanye speak about the minutes of the meeting. As always, the Secretary, I wonder, Toastmaster Sharanye, if you were a part of NCC in your school days. Because like a NCC cadet, she's always ready. Hum tayar hai. That is the motto of NCC. And you're always ready with the peak of with your energy and clarity at the top notch. One suggestion as for a secretary I would want to put across is, now that you have been doing for the last 3 months, I saw that you have been looking at the notes, which I understand is important, but maybe you can try to increase on your memory to look up at the audience in between, so that it adds up to your memory game, and also it would be more connecting to the audience. That is one thing. Apart from that, a wonderful minutes of meeting read out by Toastmaster Sharanye. A big round of applause for her. Then we have Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Mamatha. As always, Toastmaster Mamatha is like, I learn about the about children. I get updates about the life at school from Toastmaster Mamatha, because personally my children are grown up. I have no clue what happens with children in school, and I get that update with you. You also one thing that I would want to put across is, you hit the bell when you saw the time was going on and people had not yet settled. So that was a wonderful move by you as a Sergeant at Arms to start that. You have started it. Get ready for the meeting. And also the marvelous introduction to the President. I hear that every time you introduce the President, you come out with very creative and different way of it. Like today you said, from a drop to an ocean heave. I mean, so well you connect. Even I agree with it. It's a drop to an ocean which keeps us active for the energetic for the next 1 week. Areas that you would want to take up to improve on yourself would be, as a sergeant and arms, it's you who start the meeting. So maybe in the, like, you start with a big good evening Toastmasters and guests. If your preparation is well done in advance, I'm sure the energy will go up. It is, if I personally think if there is a lack of preparation, then here also we go as good evening Toastmasters because I'm not prepared. So maybe that one thing you can work on. And the other is your timing as a sergeant at arms is for 2 minutes, and today you took more than 2 minutes, nearly 3 minutes. So maybe you can work on it. When you prepare, you can like look at the content that has been there and maybe avoid repetitive. So with that, a big round of applause for Toastmaster Mamatha. I shall come to the Master of Ceremony later. Before that, we can start with our evaluation of the speakers today. I would want Toastmaster Raja to come and give the evaluation for Toastmaster Mehjabin.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So I'm evaluating for the first speaker, Toastmaster Mehjabin. The body language was really great at this time, and your eye contact has also improved. So from the first speech, you have taken the feedback, you have worked on it, and you have improved both of these things. Your intro was great. The way you started it, and you said good evening Toastmasters, and you got into the speech. That was fantastic. No errors in that. It was seamless. And a lot of analogies worked well, like seed in soil, thought in mind, makeup removal, thoughts removal, eagle in a chicken nest. So all of that analogies that you brought in, it was really good. When you were mentioning about the eagle in the chicken nest, your voice modulation went a little bit high and low, and it was, I really liked that voice modulation. Probably you can do that for your entire speech. But I really liked it when you said, when the eagle looks at the eagle and it says like, you are not eagle to fly like that. So that was great. And you also ended it up with, you started with thought is a seed, and you ended it up saying like, as a circle technique, you ended it up saying thought is a seed, and you closed your speech. So these are all the positive points, and also there was no nervousness when you were delivering the speech. You were quite comfortable standing here delivering that speech, so which was fantastic. So you are ready to go to the next level now. Now, areas that you can improve upon. When you asked a question, you could have been a little bit more clear on your question when you asked. It was a rhetorical question. Don't we all remove makeups? Something like that. So it's a rhetorical question, so you're not expecting an answer. So there are, either are you expecting an answer from that question, then it's a different way to ask that question. But if it is just a rhetorical question, you're not expecting an answer. You can just take a pause and then you can just move on. So maybe that is something that you can work upon. And your eye contact have improved 50% from the last time. So it was very good. But I would say there is 20% improvement that you need to do with eye contact. So eye contact is like when you're speaking, you make eye contact with them for 4 seconds, then you go to the next person for 4 seconds, then you go to the next person for 4 seconds. So you did most of it over here. So, but definitely it has improved from the last time. Maybe 20% to go to the top-notch level of eye contact when you're delivering a speech. The last one is pronunciation was little off for some of the words. Maybe that is something that you can work upon. But overall, this was a great speech, and you incorporated a lot of stories in it. There were 3 stories in it, and it was a fantastic speech, way better than your last speech, and you definitely have improved in a lot of aspects when delivering the speech. So with that, all the best for your next speeches, and over to the General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja, for this very clear and crisp evaluation. As a GE, my role is to evaluate the evaluator, not the speaker, so I shall not be talking anything about the speaker. Toastmaster Raja, your evaluation was to the point. You spoke about what she said well. You spoke about the analogies that she used, the examples that she gave, the stories that she put in, the eye contacts, the vocal variety, the tone that she modulated, all those things were in place. You spoke about it. When you started your evaluation, you came directly to the point saying that your vocal variety was good, your eye contact was good. So it could be that you would have had a conversation with the speaker on the areas that she would want to be evaluated on. But as an audience, it came to us that the evaluator is speaking about eye contact and other things. Maybe you could have started introducing the speech where you started like after, where you came up with saying the analogy and the story of the eagle and chicken. So from there, if you can take it up to the specific areas, then the audience is connected, because there might be people who had not been earlier here to listen to her speech. And also, I like what you said about a difference of rhetorical question and the other question. That is something like as speakers we all need to learn, because many a times we put in a question and the audience comes out with an answer and then we start thinking it was not a question. But that is what the speaker has to learn about, how to put such rhetorical questions. That is how we need to, as speakers, need to learn. So with that, a very well done evaluation by Toastmaster Raja. A big round of applause for him. Now we have DTM Udanka to evaluate Toastmaster Sindhushree's speech, one chapter at a time.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and Toastmaster Sindhu in particular. 22 platforms, 15 speeches, 3 mentors, 1 Sindhu. I have seen the journey you evolve as a speaker, starting off with your icebreaker till you complete your level. You have grown as a speaker, I would say. Now coming to the points you actually did well at this particular speech. Silence, countdown, self-questioning. At the very beginning of your speech, got the audience interest. They were keen to listen to what exactly you wanted to convey with those numbers, with that silence and with your self-questions. You had the audience interest from the start. That's one thing I really appreciate. Second, the order which you followed. You started off from your icebreaker, moved on to your next speech, moved on to your next level. It was in a chronological order. So this order not only helped you remember the points during your speech, it also helped the new members understand what pathways is, understand what is next upon their way. And you also had a clarity on what you were saying. That's a really good point. That's a good brownie point for you. And coming to the next point, the message you wanted to convey. For example, you said you had an icebreaker speech and what were the learnings from your. Next was a leadership journey, what you faced as a challenge there, what you accepted as a challenge from others, and what you actually improved in your next speech. Every minor bit of your journey was covered throughout. It does not say that you only told us what you learned about speech or what you learned about this path. You also made sure you give us the exact small instances where you actually felt the challenges. That's a really good brownie point for you. Now coming to the parts where you can actually little focus on to make your speeches next level is the stage utilization. You were standing throughout here, or just one step left and right, you were using the stage throughout your speech. Since it's a long speech, a little movement would help you also connect with audience well. And how you could do that? You had 5 different levels. You could have chosen 5 different points on the stage to indicate 5 different levels, and you could connect more with the audience. And Sindhu, you have a very good smile. Use it that in your speeches to make your facial expressions more, so that your interest will have more connect with the audience. And one point to challenge yourself from the next part, knowing you're a seasoned speaker now, this is the challenge I'm giving it to you: voice modulation. A slight voice modulation will add many values to your speech. The points where you felt a little low on your part during this journey, you could have just lowered your voice, and the parts where you actually achieved it, it could have come out more energetic way that would have taken your speeches to the next level. Overall, very good start. You had a following chronological order which helped to connect through the audience. A great clarity on message what you wanted to deliver. A slight utilization of space, stage and facial expressions, but slight voice modulation. I'm pretty sure you will rock the stages from here. Looking forward to see you complete much more parts from now. Wishing you all the best. Back to the general evaluator.
Thank you, DTM Udanka. Now that was what a wonderful evaluation. I am so mesmerized with the way DTM Udanka has given the evaluation today. You spoke about 5 points, like you connected with her. I have seen you evolve personally, and that is the best connection our evaluator can connect with the speaker. Then you gave her 3 to 5 points about the clarity of what she spoke, the message, what the new members would take away from her, what the clarity was, and the messages and challenges that she had gone through. That was really very wonderful. I would say that you have made such an effort to observe such minute, tiny details and make a note of it. And I also you gave the feedback on how she could have used the stage with 5 different topics at 5 different places. That was a challenge, you gave her how it could have been done, and also the challenge of voice modulation. And in the end, you summarized the whole thing. So that was very well done. A big round of applause for Toastmaster Udanka, as it has been very good. I have nothing more to say to make the evaluation better. So that's been wonderful. Now, I would request you all to take some time and give the evaluation of the speaker and the evaluator. And with that, I would want the TAPG role takers, I'll call one by one to give their report. So first I have Toastmaster Chetan as the R-counter role taker to give his report. Let's welcome Toastmaster Chetan.
First role here, so you'll have to forgive me if I haven't done a good job with it. Having said that, I've basically counted the number of R's, some repeated words, pauses, and words, clutch words or crutch words as they call it. You know, okay, like, I see, although, etc. So, yeah, like that. Some pointed feedback for people, and then in general I found quite a few R's and Ums being used, including by myself. I found, Balaji, in your opening speech you actually used quite a lot of crutch words, but during your table topic speech you were on point. There was nothing in that, it was beautiful. And that's it. Sharanye, you had a lot of R's and Ums. You can work on that for sure. Shiva, you were very clean, there was nothing there. For me, there was plenty. Karthik, you had quite a few R's, 3, 4. Raja, you had a couple in there. Let's see. Yeah, so and then Sindhushree, you had a couple as well. But overall, okay, so I found another thing, number of pauses. There were a few good pauses. Apart from normal, the bad pauses, there were actually a lot of good pauses, and I want to point out that was something that we should all take away and really improve. Sindhushree had a lot of good pauses during her speech. She had a few awkward ones, but some great, those perfect pauses, that lets the audience capture it. I think there were quite a few table topic speeches that included these as well. A few by K Prabhakara, Amitabha, Sushruth, and Keerthana. So go ahead. There were a few awkward pauses as well. The detailed document is available for you to see for those of you who want the detailed feedback. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chetan, for the keen observation on the R counter. Toastmaster Chetan, this is your debutant role, and you have done very well. I like when you started that I'm going to be a tough evaluator. That started with the confidence that you have behind the lectern, and coming up with your report, you had. For the first time, I heard there was a counter person giving us good pauses, the number of good pauses. So that is something that we really as speakers need to learn, that good pauses does make an impact. Along with this, Toastmaster Chetan, I would want to put across for anyone who takes any role. At Toastmasters, we call the members with Toastmaster Sharanye, Toastmaster Gaurav, Toastmaster Shiva, and not per se as Shiva, Karthik, Chetan. Irrespective of whatever they are, we call them as Toastmaster, and there are some of them who have been distinguished Toastmasters, so they are called as DTM K Prabhakara, DTM Udanka, DTM Amitabha. So this is mandatory here at Toastmasters, which we all need to learn about it. But apart from that, very well done, Toastmaster Chetan. Next time when you take as a counter role taker, the role taker needs to give the report who has said for how many times. That is the note that they have to come and put it across as their role. So, but in all, I very much like your confidence behind the lectern. A big round of applause for Toastmaster Chetan. Now we have Toastmaster Abhimaan as Grammarian.
Good evening all the Toastmasters and no guests present here. Coming to the speakers who used the word of the day, only Toastmaster Chetan used it once. Coming to the not so good usages of grammar, they were listens to should have been listened to, take backs should have been takeaways, trivial should have been trivial, and coming to good usages of grammar, there were some. They are verification, hell out of heaven, heaven out of hell, do things differently or do different things, endeavor, intricate structure, and seamless. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhimaan, for that good usages and not so good usages that you have marked. A big round of applause for Toastmaster Abhimaan. Now we have Toastmaster Shiva for the timer role.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Here is what I have documented as the timer. So, the business session is allotted 3 minutes and the actual time taken was 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The welcome by Sergeant at Arms is allotted 3 minutes and it took 3 minutes and 28 seconds. President is allotted 3 minutes for the guest introduction. There was only one guest, so no problem there. The presidential address was allotted 5 minutes. It took 7 minutes in total. Introduction of Toastmaster of the evening is allotted 1 minute and took 30 seconds. Report on previous meeting was finished exactly in 2 minutes. Coming to the Master of Ceremonies, she was allotted 10 minutes and she took 8 minutes and 30 seconds in total in the beginning. Coming to the prepared speakers, speaker number 1, Toastmaster Mehjabin, was a 5 to 7 minute speech and took 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Her evaluated Toastmaster Raja took 3 minutes and 22 seconds, so just close to the board. The second speaker, Toastmaster Sindhushree, was well within time, 11 minutes and 50 seconds. And her evaluator, DTM Udanka, was also well within time, 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Coming to the table topics session, the entire session went on for 19 minutes. It was allotted 20 minutes, so well within time. And coming to the individual speakers, the list has been put up on the board, and apart from DTM K Prabhakara taking a little bit extra than what is allotted, and Toastmaster Abhimaan not coming up to 1 minute, all the other speakers were well within time. Coming to the break time, it was allotted 10 minutes, took 13 minutes and 40 seconds, and the general evaluator so far has taken about 16 minutes. Thank you, and over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva, for that very precise and to the point timing that you have noted. I'm sure it takes a lot of observation and lot of effort to keep the count of the time. Very well done timer roll by Toastmaster Shiva. Big round of applause to him. Now we have Toastmaster Karthik as a PP evaluator.
Good evening, everyone. As I noticed, the meeting was flawless, and there was unrelated mobile fell off. That was only, but still we carried on smoothly. And rather than timer, no one used mobile, or 2-3 people used mobile, I can say. That's it. No one used sex, politics, religion. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karthik. The PP evaluator's role is to see who has come in or exited, if at all, during the speech time, or if there was a crosstalk, and as you have rightly said, no one did crosstalk or such things. And it is the usage of sex, politics and religion was not used by any speakers, so very well done. With that, a big round of applause for Toastmaster Karthik. Now we come to the table topic master, Toastmaster Apoorva. I bet this was your debutante role as a table topic master, and you have done wonderfully, Toastmaster Apoorva. Your creative of taking us to a very different country was itself in a boon to all of us who would never have, at least I have never thought of going to Paris or Switzerland, but with this I now look forward for it. So a very creative way of conducting a table topic session. Your questions hypothetically put across to everyone was very different, where we had to place ourselves in that situation and we spoke about it. So that was very well done. Taking this forward, at a point of time, maybe you had an expectation of the answer by the speakers that, I'm not sure, I felt a couple of times when you gave your comment on the speaker that you had a particular flow in your thought which you wanted the speaker to talk about it, but as in a table topic session, the table topic master has to just give the topic. The speaker can think and talk about anything, whether it is relevant or not relevant is the speaker's take. So maybe on that we cannot give a comment. So maybe going forward, anyone who takes a table topic master's role can keep this in mind. But apart from that, very fun-filled and full of laughter. I wish you keep taking more roles, and your confidence behind the lectern is marvelous. So a big round of applause to Toastmaster Apoorva. And with this, we come to the master of the ceremony, Toastmaster Sharanye. Now, Toastmaster Sharanye is there is beyond words that I have to talk about her. Is like her topic has been wonderful, a very different topic. She started her energy here with Toastmasters. Good evening really took every one of us alert and up, which we were like, okay, after a Monday festival coming on Tuesday, okay, let's go through a Toastmasters session. But then her good evening chipped us everyone to be alert. That was very wonderful. And also you spoke only for the precise 2 to 3 minutes on the topic, and you said that the Toastmaster and Sergeant, President and Sergeant Arms has spoken about it, so not much, and you did not continue or talk about other things, and very beautifully you connected it to Dr. Rals's medley about the person who documented this Toastmasters. That was very well done, and you explained every session in detail. What is the role taker, what are they going to do, and how, what is the timing, everything you spoke about very clearly. So again here I would want to put across the introduction to the role takers, particularly the speakers. You are aware about them, so maybe you can from next time you can avoid looking at your script and introduce them directly, which makes a lot of difference to the audience. But otherwise, a wonderful session done, high energy, and I look forward. I always get connected when you speak so energetically. It keeps me up throughout the week. A big round of applause for Toastmaster Sharanye. So with that, I come to the end of my general evaluation on the job on the role takers. But I have a couple of points that I would want to put across. As I said, we work on starting our meeting in time. The other thing is, I have earlier also spoken about it. During the table topic session, the table topic master gives the audience, the Toastmasters, a topic. It is not about me going and giving the updates to the table topic master. I see many of the Toastmasters virtually turning like this and speaking to the table topic master. The session, the members are to speak to the audience. That is the whole reason that table topic session is. So maybe we can avoid it. And I also seen that the lectern has been kept vacant. All these things I have learned in this 1.5 years is we come here as to learn as a speaker. So this lectern is a very sacred or very important or very respectful place, which should not be, I see it that way, and I put across it to all the members, never to keep it empty. Shake hands. I understand you get jittery and you just want to run away, but stay back, because this is why you are here, to be behind us. And also table topic, when the table topic is being given, I have learned this. Back of the lecture, first few sessions there will be pin drop silence, you will not talk, things will be running in your head, you want to run away, but stay back. Stay back for that 2 minutes. Now if you see the tabletop, the Toastmasters Club is charging 930 rupees per month, and you are not here to run away from this place. Each minute, each 2 minutes is yours, you have paid for it. Look at it that way, and you stay back here. The other thing is, today as a general evaluator, I found many people on their cell phone, which personally it bothered me. Because when a speaker is talking, not only when I am doing the general evaluation, I saw it when other people were speaking. Again I come back, why are you here? If it is to do with your cell phone, then you have other places, not Toastmasters. It is the learning, it is the listening, it is the speaking that we learn here, and respecting the others. So maybe we can take it forward with this back to the MC.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyothi. I hope all of you had a great time, and hope all of you will be documenting this the right way. With this, now I would give it back to the President.
think without any further ado, we'll just directly delve into the winners of the day. I really was very surprised with some speakers, especially the first time role takers who did a great job. I think today's table topic session was fantastic by Toastmaster Apoorva. She's so new here, so fresh here, and it is good to see you take up roles, and that growth is seen week on week, which is a beautiful thing to watch. And Toastmaster Chetan, I have to tell you, you have a great opportunity to become a fantastic speaker because the command you have over your language, the kind of word usage, the way you frame your words are all great assets a speaker could have. So I think more roles like this and more speech slots, I think we'll definitely have a great speaker in you. With that, I think we had a fruitful day. It is a Tuesday and we were all here after an intense GE session where suddenly I thought it was Sindhu speaking, Toastmaster Sindhu speaking, but I definitely have to give our GE a great round of applause. Toastmaster Jyothi's journey itself has been quite inspiring for me because from the start to speaking to fill the time, from speaking to fill the time, to now speaking to make the most of the time. That journey itself is so beautiful to watch, and today's GE I think is an exceptional thing, especially how you respected the lectern and that small feedback with that kind of impact that you delivered. Definitely Toastmaster Jyothi, or do we call you Toastmaster Joe from now on? It is inspiring to see. Thank you so much for a fantastic session today. With that, I don't know why I keep seeing a lot of ties, but we'll go with the best role taker, MTG. After a lot of difficult competition, it is Toastmaster Sharanye. Best role taker, Tap G. Looks like I was not the only one who observed his proficiency. The club has spoken to. It's the debutant role taker, the R counter for the day, Toastmaster Chetan. Best table topic speech. Of course, no competition here. Oh, it's me. It's me. They think I'm giving it to you. It is no. There are multiple clues. Okay. Best evaluator, yes, I definitely have to tell Udanka, your language has gotten so good and the kind of value you're adding in your evaluation is so good. Shows the journey from a TM to a DTM Udanka. Winning a ribbon when you're up against Toastmaster Raja is definitely a win. Right? And the best speaker, you know what, today is a special day because we are meeting on a Tuesday and it is Ganesh Chaturthi. And what does Ganesha say? I don't really know. Let's get to the best speakers of the day. Best speakers of the day, that's your cue. Both of us, both of you. Toastmaster Sindhu and Toastmaster Mehjabin. And I think Toastmaster Sindhu deserves a bigger round of applause because she completed her path today, and that deserves a huge round of applause. And Mehjabin for her intense topics and great content. With that, I'd like to close this fantastic meeting, and I request you all to please raise for the national anthem.
Mana Adinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidata